All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be talking We Are East Liverpool with Nick Mazurka and Lou Bellino coming up in just a little bit. But John Babalik is going to be doing double duty here tonight. He not only is a great mixologist, but he's a wonderful teacher at that beautiful place that is East Liverpool High School. Longtime coach, former player at Wellsville. We'll get into all that in just a couple of minutes. But we're going to make him go the wide world of sports, everything. Let's begin with the Pittsburgh Penguins, who were beaten last night 5-1 by Chicago. Corey Crawford made 31 stops, as did Marc-Andre Fleury, but the Pens offered little assistance as far as offense. Brian Russ is the only one that got the goal. Madison Square Garden. Rangers tomorrow night. They are banged up. Letang, Malcolm, they're out. So what do you do if you're Mike Sullivan? And he says injuries are really no excuse, but they got a lot of reasons to be concerned.
Well, you probably didn't know this, but I'm a diehard hockey fan. A couple guys I work for, we have season tickets. So we got like 10 or 12 games a year. But
you'll be seeing John Babalik on many more of these videos.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
But anyway, I think Sullivan's, I think if they had to play a game tomorrow, if that game tomorrow was a playoff game or it was a must-win game, I think Malkin plays. Letang, I'm not quite sure of. But I think they're just trying to save Malkin, get him the last couple games to get the rust off of him, and I think he'll be ready to go. And I think Trevor Daley, people forget about him. Hagelin, they got to get guys healthy. I mean, these young kids come up and they keep filling them in and plugging them in spots, but they got to get the core back. And if they can make a run at the cup again, but they got to get the core back.
Pirates, Toronto tomorrow night, Olympic Stadium, and then for real against his Boston Red Sox at Fenway Sunday, 93.7 The Fan. Garrett Cole gets to start. Pirates, but first, why Boston? Do you love Boston so much? As a matter of fact, Bob Duffy refused to come up here tonight because he wanted to talk Boston Red Sox baseball.
Growing up, baseball was my number one sport, and my dad was really a good pitcher. Matter of fact, he pitched against Harvey Haddix when he was younger. Harvey Haddix was from down around Lansing, down around Caddis area.
What?
And my dad pitched against him, and my dad got an offer from the old Boston Braves before when they went to Milwaukee and had a contract, but went to the war. Not that he would have made it or anything, but he had a contract. And then when he came back, and then I was growing up, he was a big Ted Williams fan. So he used to take me to Cleveland, the Municipal Stadium, and watch when the Red Sox came into town. And I had a Ted Williams glove and everything, and I was a Ted Williams fan growing up. And I went through some bad times, and then all of a sudden things started getting good. And Francona goes to Boston. They win a world championship. He wins another world championship, and then he leaves. Bad time. They bring in Farrell. He wins a world championship, and they're competitive. They got owners that want to spend some money. And
mean if they would win a World Series in Cleveland this year? I mean, before LeBron, it was Jim Brown. I mean, they really had some tough times, with championships. You mean you wouldn't feel the same way that you feel when Boston wins a World Series?
For the Indians?
Yeah, come on.
I like Terry Francona. I think he was a great manager of Boston. I mean, he was responsible for a lot of those wins, but I mean, last year I died a slow death when the Indians smacked them around a little bit.
All right, Pirates this year. Just quickly overview. What do you think?
Pitching's the question mark. They're Cole and Nova and the young kid Glasnow.
Oh, Tyler Glasnow.
Yeah, three guys, but 4 and 5 are question marks. I mean, what are you going to do? If those guys can't perform, 500's probably the best I see for them this year.
This is why he gets free spaghetti tonight, because this is his sweet spot. The guy was a player, 48 consecutive free throws while at Wellsville High School, 1970 graduate, made Sports Illustrated. It's his claim to fame. I still have a copy of it in the car if you want to see it, and he'll autograph it for you as well. But that's big stuff. Went on to Bowling Green. We're going to talk more about that with Nick and Lou in just a little bit. But he loves college basketball. His son, Andrew, is a high school basketball coach in Ohio. And his son, David, obviously coaching as well. The Thailand women's team may be taking them to the Olympics. So there's a lot of basketball in his DNA. Let's talk about South Carolina and Gonzaga. Who can stop Sindarius Thornwell, the best player in the tournament, averaging 25 points a game, and he's a force under the boards?
He's the guy that a lot of people have never heard of. I mean, he was the player of the year.
Did you hear of him before?
Player of the year in the Southeast Conference. You don't see South Carolina. You see Kentucky. You see Florida. Those guys. But South Carolina was kind of an enigma. And then, Frank Martin coming in from Kansas State was on a program, and took the first 3 years he's there, they struggled, and I mean they struggled bad. But the administration stuck with him, and they told him, hey, do what you have to do. We want to be a winner, not just in football, but everything.
Is there any truth that Lou Holtz, who actually coached there, is helping recruiting down in South Carolina? I mean, come on now. This team was nothing. Frank Martin, you gave him a little credit. We'll talk about him in a second. But, I mean, up until they really get into this thing, they hadn't won an NCAA tournament in 44 games, and they've never been to the Final Four.
It's, you get taught at the right time. And, I mean, they made a run in the SEC tournament. They won some games. They got confident. They got healthy. And, they're about 7-8 players deep, and they're pretty dangerous. I mean, they play hard.
Okay, Gonzaga's guards, can they do anything against South Carolina's defense?
I believe so. I think the Goss kid, Nigel Williams-Goss, great player, averaged 18, 19 a game. And then they got the big kid, the force inside. Kronotsky is really a horseman. I don't know how you stop the kid. You got to double him, and if you do, he's good enough to find the open man, and they make things interesting. Gonzaga's good.
This kind of takes me back to those days when it was time now for the Wellsville Basketball Show, brought to you by Kelly Cataldo TV. Here's John Babalik, ladies and gentlemen. But I love breaking it down with guys who actually played the game, and he did play the game, and he was a really good coach, and we're going to talk more about that in just a little bit. But who wins the battle in the front court in this game? South Carolina, Gonzaga.
The front court?
Yeah.
Gonzaga. The big kid's he's a horse. I mean, he can hurt you. He can score. He can pass. If he stays out of foul trouble, they got the kid coming off the bench, the 7-footer, and he can spell him. So I think Gonzaga has a little bit of an edge there.
Best part of this story is that both of these teams truly are what the tournament's all about. No one ever thought they would get this far, and that's what I love about the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, Mark Few's the coach at Gonzaga. He's had some success. Had John Stockton's son played there. I remember a few years ago we were up in Pittsburgh. They played West Virginia in the first round of the NCAA's up there. Smacked Huggins' team. I mean, smacked them.
You like Frank Martin?
Yeah, I do. I mean, he's old school. He's gruff, and you better strap your shoes on when you come to play for him, because you know what you're going to get. The ball's going to be on the floor. You better dive after it. And if you don't, he's going to bring you over and sit him down and find out why you didn't dive after it.
Last time I checked, Zags were a 6-point favorite in that one. Okay, up next, Oregon, North Carolina. Does North Carolina make Oregon go big, or will Oregon force North Carolina to play small?
That's really a good question. I think Oregon lost the forward. The kid blew his ACL out the first NCAA game, and he they depend a lot on Brooks. The Kelly kid last week had 9 or 10 blocks. Oregon's good. Oregon was supposed to be there. I mean, before the season started, before that kid got hurt, Oregon was a top 5 team, and they were supposed to be there. Brooks got hurt, missed a couple games early. They lost a couple games, and people kind of forgot about them because of UCLA and Arizona being the top 2 teams in the Pac-12. But Oregon's the real deal.
Why would you want to be anywhere else championship Monday when this guy probably behind the bar is sitting next to you? You kidding me? You got to come down to Casa de Emmanuel. All right, they're removed a year from the buzzer beater that they lost to Villanova, okay? Roy Williams, if he gets the win, okay, he'll
third time.
Right, he's only one of 6.
Mm-hmm.
Is he considered, I think he is, one of the greatest college coaches of all time?
Probably. I mean, you're gonna, it's probably not gonna take long to call roll when you talk about the best coaches. Team, you win championships. I mean, players win championships, but coaches get the players. So, I think North Carolina, they're sitting there with, Joel Berry's a question mark. He's got a bad ankle. How much is he going to be able to play? They said he's not going to practice this week, and he's limited, and see how he plays. But North Carolina's deep. I thought they were the best team in the tournament when it started. And, I'm not going to change, but I think any one of the 4 teams could win. I really do.
All right, listen, this would be a great place for when that Shell petrochemical plant gets up and running to have a corporate luncheon meeting. Love the fact they're here. And also the Shell Houston Open is underway this week. That, of course, the warm-up to the Masters. Let me just go through this quickly. Jonathan, who's shooting this for us, where are we at time-wise? You can talk.
9:35.
We got time. We're in good shape. All right, let's go through the Masters here real quick. Jordan Spieth, picture of consistency with a win and 4 top 10s in the West Coast swing of late. Last 3 Masters tied for second, number 2 the second time, and then of course he won it. It came in third. It was tied for second, won it, and then he came in second. Dustin Johnson, best Masters finish. He tied for 4th in 2016. This year took over the top spot in the world. Has won 3 times, taking this weekend off to rest up after winning last week at the Dell Technologies Match Championship. Hideki Matsuyama, best Masters finish, number 5, 2015. 3 wins, 2 seconds in the tour since October. Rory McIlroy, best Masters finish, 4th. Rib injury has slowed him down a little bit, but the kid's got power, confidence, maturity, and a desire to join the career Grand Slam club, and he's 25 years of age. And the guy that made the Puma hat famous, Ricky Fowler, big win this year at the Honda Classic, his best appearance at the Masters. He tied for 5th in 2015. Strong putting the golf ball. Justin Rose won the Olympics, gold medalist. He's a great ball striker. Best Masters finish, he tied for 5th in 2015. Henrik Stenson, best Masters finish, tied for 14th in 2014. Consistency continues this year, especially on the European Tour. Also finished 2nd at Dubai, 7th at the Valspar Championship. The Open Championship winner has always driven the ball well, and that's a big plus for Augusta. Adam Scott, best finish at the Masters. He won it in 2013. Putting has been really good so far this year, but the rest of the game suffering, so he has suffered in the early part of 2017. Phil Mickelson, 04, 06, and 10, in 2010 a winner. 2 sports hernias has him really going through a lot of rehab in recent times, but this year in his 2 starts, he has 2 top 10 finishes. And he is 46, and we all remember the Golden Bear did it at 46, so you never know. One other guy to look for, Thomas Pieters, first time at the Masters. He is a 2016 breakout star, tied 2nd at Riviera, where he won the NCAA in 2012. Very impressive. Also 5th at the World Golf Championships in Mexico. Also 4th in the Olympics, and stole the Ryder Cup show with a 4-0 record. He is from Belgium. He went to school at the University of Illinois. Those are my top 10. Who do you like? And I know you're going to be going to Augusta. Lucky you, ladies and gentlemen. He will be there, so give me some thoughts about the Masters.
I kind of like Jordan Spieth, but you forgot Jason Day. I mean, you picked 10 good ones, but Jason
right.
Day, he's a
kid from Australia.
Yeah, he's struggling. He lives in right outside of Columbus, Westerville. Married a girl from Ohio.
See, that's why. So you didn't forget.
You didn't.
Home cooking.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I mean,
that's why
she was the one
here.
LeBron ran over last year. Remember his wife?
Oh,
They had to carry her out on a stretcher.
Yeah.
So I think Spieth has something to prove. Redeeming himself from last year after he hit 2 in the water there on 12, and I kind of like him. How can you go against Dustin Johnson? He's probably the hottest guy, man. You got to be around him. You got to have asbestos gloves on. But
I like that.
So,
by the way, that was my agent that called. The check just cleared the bank, so I can eat. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So, I think there's 5 or 6. Mickelson's playing really well, and Phil, as long as he doesn't get to Sunday and something stupid happens where he tries to hit a flop shot over like 12 trees and has about a 1 in 20 chance of making the shot, and something hits the tree and bounces out or something, but. There's probably like you said you picked your top 10. I'd say there's probably 6 or 8 guys that can win. I like Matsuyama. I think he played well there last year. He could have won it coming down the stretch. The guy from England won. He came out of nowhere to win it. So playing there on Sunday and you get the Amen corner and you play those last 4 or 5 holes. See who has it.
How'd you get the tickets?
My wife won the lottery. We were watching. My wife's a diehard. She loves to play golf.
She won the lottery?
They went a thing across the screen saying, "Are you interested in tickets for the 2017 Masters? Go online and apply." She applied. They sent her an email back saying, "Sorry to inform you didn't win, but we will have a second chance drawing in a couple weeks." I'm coming home from umpiring a game last summer, and I'm going across the Chester Bridge, and she goes, "Are you sitting down?" And I said, "Yeah." And she goes, "You're not going to believe this." And I said, "Oh my God, man, what happened?" I thought one of the kids was in a wreck or something, Right. She said, no, good news. She said, "We got tickets to the Masters." I was like, get out of here.
Up next, we are East Liverpool and the surrounding tri-state, taking a little stroll down memory lane with some great guys. Nick Mazurka, Lou Bellino, the proprietor of this wonderful place, and a great athlete and coach and a wonderful public school teacher. It's all good with John Babalik next.